Everybody, Mark Hinderleiter here. Thanks for tuning in. If you'll go into the comment or chat box, just tell me where you're zooming in from. I always say calling in from, but tell me where you're zooming in from. Thanks for tuning in. So these live streams are always talking about turning the great resignation into the great retention. That's the thing that's going on in the business world today that either gives companies an advantage or a disadvantage. And on our last live stream, we talked about a culture of servant leadership as a competitive advantage for attracting and retaining talent. So we'll switch gears a little bit this week. We're going to talk about how creating clarity, communicating with clarity in the workplace has both an impact on business performance and on team performance and on employee retention. So let's just define clarity. What is it? To me, it's real straightforward. It's everybody on the same page, pulling in the same direction towards meaningful team goals, meaningful company goals. When we have everybody doing that, we really have something going for us. We have a lot of power. We have a lot of momentum. We have a lot of energy going in the right direction. And we have a big advantage over companies that don't do that as well. So let's put it into context. When I talk about clarity, I like to try to make it real world. So let's do it in what I call a tale of two projects. So project A. Let's say you are a team member on project A, or maybe even a team leader. So on project A, there's the team leader, and the team has done a good job of creating clarity in the purpose of the project. Why are we doing this? The outcomes of the project, what's good look like? The scope of the project, what it is and what it isn't. Any timelines associated with the project, any budget associated with the project, clarity in all of those things. But there's more. We keep going down what I call the clarity ladder from top down to where people are. So clarity about expectations of my role as a team member. Clarity about expectations about how I'm supposed to work with the other team members. So a lot of clarity up front, but not just up front, on an ongoing basis. So things evolve during the course of a project. So how about great clarity about progress that we're making? How about great clarity on the obstacles we're running into? And how about great clarity on the steps that we're going to take to remove those obstacles and keep going forward? So clarity, there's a lot of layers to this thing. And when we do a really good job of creating clarity up front and on an ongoing basis, I mean, what happens? With the performance of the project. So let's go to, getting ahead of myself, let's go to project B. Well-intentioned people, just like with project A. Well-intentioned people. And not great clarity up front in terms of the purpose of the project. Maybe that came from senior management. Maybe that started within the project team. But in any case, pointing fingers doesn't help. There's not great clarity about the purpose of the project. There's not great clarity about maybe the outcome of the project, what good looks like, what success looks like. Maybe there's not as much clarity about the timeline expected, or if there's a budget involved. So all those things up front, about clarity about what's everybody's role before the project begins, and how does everybody, how do I as a team member, how am I expected to interact with other team members? Where are we expected to collaborate? So not great clarity from the get-go. Same thing on an ongoing basis. It's very dynamic. Projects are very dynamic. They evolve. They turn left, they turn right. They are not linear. So as things move forward, let's say we don't have great clarity about progress we're making. So people don't kind of get the booster shot of the progress that we're making. And maybe there's not as much clarity about the obstacles that we're running into or what we're going to do about it, what the next steps are. So not as much clarity up front and not as much clarity on an ongoing basis. So, that was Project A and that was Project B. So now that you've heard about both of those projects, who's going to perform better? I'm not a betting man, but I'd bet a nickel that Project A is going to perform a whole lot better, only because of the clarity involved. Nothing to do with really the project itself, but because we had clarity up front at a high level, clarity up front about what was expected of people, and clarity on an ongoing basis about progress, about obstacles, about the path forward. That project stands a really good chance of success. And Project B, other side of the coin, not great clarity up front, so not real clear about why we're doing this. So that might impact buy-in. Not clear about what success looks like. So everybody has a different idea of what success looks like. Not as clear about my role, about a collaboration, not as clear on, progress, obstacles, and next steps. So our chances of stumbling are really good. And I don't know about you, I've been on both of those projects. And if you've been on both of those projects, you see it. You see which one stands a chance to making a meaningful impact on the company, and which one is a waste of time and money, and chalk it up as a loss. And so, not only will the Project A perform better, but here's really the key question about what's happening in this project as it relates to people. So what project will create a better experience for the people on that project? Great experience with Project A, right? We're having success. My contribution is meaningful. Being on this team is fun. And maybe it's even a growth experience for me, because maybe this project is a little bit outside the scope of my day-to-day job. So chances are this is a really positive experience for people. Project B, other side of that coin, probably going to be a lousy experience. Probably going to be really frustrating. Going to be really a suck of my time and my energy. And so the frustration with all of those things really make this a very negative experience for me as a person on that team. And so, think about this project as just a microcosm of an employee's experience in the company. Is it a rewarding one, a fun one? Feel like we're making progress, feel like I'm contributing and learning and growing? Or is it frustrating and just sucking the life out of me? Very different experiences outside the project and within the company. And that's why clarity has so much impact on employee retention, because the employee experience has a whole lot to do with employee retention. The experience in Project A was lousy, or was terrific. The experience in Project B was lousy. So when people think about their experience within the company, their job, their team, their boss, and all those kind of things, those are the kind of things that are coming into play today with people as they make decisions about, do I stay? Do I fully engage? Or do I start looking? Do I start looking actively? Have a whole lot to do with what's my experience within this project, within this team, within this company. And the ability for leaders to create clarity just make it much more a positive experience, a more meaningful experience. It really helps me as an individual connect the dots between what's my role in this company and how does it serve the greater purpose. When we do that as a leader, to connect those kind of dots for people, chances are they're going to have a great experience. So take a step back and let's put our ourselves in the shoes of the people that we lead. What do they want to be clear about? That's really the test. Here's my experience being in leadership roles for a long time, and the research that I see is people nowadays more than ever want to be clear about the company's purpose. They want to be clear about the company's purpose beyond being profitable. And is it a purpose that I buy into? So clarity and buy-in about that purpose is really critical. Clarity about my team or my department. What's our purpose? What's our objective? Why do we exist as a team? That's important to people too, not just the company level, but down at the team level. They want to know, they want to be clear about their role. I read a survey about a year ago that's 58% of people surveyed across America were not clear about what was expected of them in their job. So it's that simple. Be clear with people about what their job is and what's expected. Be clear about, people want to know about what good looks like, what success looks like. They want to be clear about those kind of things. And they want to be clear about, how am I supposed to collaborate? How am I supposed to interact with people? So think about a clarity ladder. They want to know the company's purpose. They want to know the company's vision. They want to know the purpose of the department they work for. They want to know the purpose of their role. Why does it exist? What are the expectations? What's success look like? And how am I contributing to the greater good? So creating clarity has a whole lot to do with not only company performance, it has a whole lot to do with the employee experience. Again, vision, purpose, and values, what's expected, what's good look like, all those kinds of things are really important to people. So here's my experience. Clarity is a game changer. It's a competitive advantage. It's an everyday job for leaders. And it not only helps create performance, but it helps create employee engagement and employee retention. So that's it. Clarity impacts performance. Clarity impacts the employee experience. Clarity impacts retention. And clarity is an everyday job for leaders. So thanks for listening. At my company, we help companies develop a people strategy that aligns with their current business strategy. I say current because business strategies are changing, because they have to in this changing world. So as business strategies change, our people strategies have to change so that we can attract the right people, so that we can retain the right people, so that our people are fully engaged. So if that sounds like something you'd like to talk about, just direct message me. So again, I'm Mark Hinderleiter. Thanks for listening. Have a great Tuesday. Have a great Tuesday.